studios. This is After 9 with Scott and Kat.
And a happy motherfucking Friday!
First one of season 12. Hi, everybody. Welcome to After 9. We are ready to go with our Friday favorite friend, Dave Blezard, joining us on the pod.
Whose volume is clearly up way too high.
Oh, is that why he...
I think so. Is that why?
Hang on.
Is that better?
No.
Are you looking for the volume?
He looks like so. I hate when that happens.
So
When
I'm thinking when you yelled, happy motherfucker.
yeah, I probably crushed his eardrums.
He blew back like 3 feet.
I went through the wall like the Kool-Aid man, but backwards. Oh, no.
Hey, how are you?
Is that a rhetorical or are you asking me?
I'm asking you.
Oh, I'm great. Thank you.
Good,
Yeah.
good. We have to probably get caught up because we haven't talked to you in a while.
Oh, my gosh. I don't even remember. It's so much has happened in the
Yes.
last couple of months. It's like I don't remember when we last spoke because we speak a lot, but it's not in this form.
In public forum.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about just podcasting our meetings, though? I feel like that would be interesting.
No.
No? I don't want to do that, eh? All right.
I'm not interested. Quite frankly, neither am I.
Yeah.
That would be embarrassing.
You have bad ideas sometimes.
Sometimes we do.
But you're very nice to smile and nod and listen to them anyway. Yeah, we could maybe do that. Where could we find a monkey? I don't know, but we'll think about it.
Interesting.
That's your favorite one. Interesting.
Or we could is the next line. Or
Yes.
we
No,
could.
no, I'm gonna stop you on that because I learned a lesson, and I'm gonna put it out there, and you'll notice it now in every meeting we have. But I don't do that. I don't say or. I never say or because I don't want to dismiss the idea that just came.
Oh, did you take like some sort of a management class or something and they taught you that? Is that where that comes
No,
from?
I'm just woke.
Oh, you're woke. Right,
Okay,
I
so
forgot.
what does the woke person do? What does a woke person do if given the bad idea? Do you try to like sway in another direction?
We all have to take another
distraction.
DEI class. That's what happens.
Usually you just melt on the spot, just into a puddle.
I'm not here.
I don't know how to react.
We will ask you a couple different questions, though, because we haven't talked to you in a while.
Mm-hmm.
First off, how did the softball team do?
We have one playoff game left. Now it's just for rankings. We
So you're out?
Yeah, we did better than last year, though.
I went to a game. I don't know where you were, Scott.
Yeah.
What the hell did you go to a game for?
I went to a game.
She came to see the Obi-Wan Kenobis.
I did.
Wow.
I did, and it was fun. What a fun team they are. A wild bunch.
Yeah.
Oh, Scott, I didn't even tell you about this. They're a fun bunch, and that's all I'm going to say right here on the podcast. But I can tell you got some party people in your
Yeah, we
in your
do.
crew.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so party people in softball, that can go one of two ways. There's either the people that are like running the bases with a solo cup in their hand, or people that take the game real seriously and then afterwards let her rip over at Morty's or something like that.
The latter.
Yeah.
It's definitely more the latter
Yeah.
than the
Yeah.
the previous. Yeah. I think we have two people right now on our team are away for a month in Italy.
Oh.
And they do it every September
Oh.
For a whole month.
for a whole month. So
During the playoffs?
yeah. Now they're going to have to figure it out because you can't go to Italy if you have a recreational co-ed softball game to play on a Wednesday night.
Right.
Cancel your goddamn trip. It's not worth it.
Not important.
I was actually thinking about you the other day. They announced the lineup for Dancing with the Stars, and I almost flew backwards.
I did the same thing, and there's one name that stands out on that list because most of the rest of the list, I'm like, I have no idea who these people are. No clue. And then the one shining light showed up. I don't think I'm going to watch it, but I'm just shocked that they got this guy for the show.
Eric Roberts is going to be on this season of Dancing with the Stars.
If you don't know who Eric Roberts is, he is one of those actors that is in, like, he's an amazing villain in anything he plays. He could be, like, he's a villain in The Expendables. He was a villain in The Dark Knight. He played Carmine Falcone, like one of the mobsters. Carmine Falcone. Anyway, he's Julia Roberts' brother, by the
I
way.
was going to say that's his biggest claim to fame, though, because he'll talk about Julia all damn day. Will
his-
Julia show up to the show? Will
And his
she
daughter
not?
is Emma Roberts.
That's right.
Yeah. And
that guy's Emma Roberts' dad?
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm amazed that she turned out as normal as she did then. Because Eric Roberts is...
Okay, so do you remember the story of how you guys met?
Vaguely. So
I know it exactly. I remember it precisely because I wasn't invited and I was so mad about it.
Right. It was a TIFF party, and TIFF is going on right now. Was it not TIFF?
Nope. It was the launch of the Virgin airline.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
That is so random. Wasn't he trying to peddle his daughter at the time out to everybody who was
No. There's a. I'll tell you that.
Okay,
part
you
in
tell
a
us
second.
the true story because I
Yeah.
feel like I've heard this story before, but I don't know if I've got it right.
Yeah, it was when they launched the airline.
Virgin Atlantic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Sir Richard Branson was there, and then there was
Drake was there.
Drake was there. That was when Drake was
Still new.
kind of newish, kind of
Yeah.
showing up to the opening of an envelope sort of thing. He would go to anything at that point, and good for him.
He needed attention, and it clearly worked.
It worked, yeah. So it's a bunch of celebrities showing up. And again, I don't know how Eric Roberts was one of them, but he was. Scott and him strike up a conversation, and he's like, you're in radio, and you work in radio. That's great. And he says, my stepson is a guitarist.
That's what it was.
And he has some new music that you should play. But the conversation, as Scott told it to me, and I know it was true because Eric Roberts repeated the same thing when I spoke to him, which was the very next morning. Scott was at the party the night before, had this conversation, and I guess Scott just sort of fluffed off Eric Roberts a little bit by saying, yeah, we play the song for sure.
Well,
And-
that's just what
you can't
say.
do that. No, we know better now. We don't
now
do
I'm not
that
gonna tell
now.
anybody that, but usually if you're a celebrity, you're like that, and you're like, oh yeah, you should play this record. I'll be like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, we'll play it.
yeah, and then whatever, right?
Get out of here.
So
I don't make those decisions.
So that morning, we're sitting there doing the morning show, and I still remember it distinctly. It was a Friday morning, and Mary, our receptionist, walked into the studio and said, "There's somebody here to see you." And I said, "Oh, okay." Like, people pop in all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Scott was not in the studio at the time, and I go, "Oh, okay. Who is it?" She's like, "Eric Roberts." And I go, "Eric Roberts?" I'm like, "Eric Roberts? Who the hell is Eric Roberts? The actor?" And I'm like, what?
Why would Eric Roberts be in the lobby?
So our studio, the way it was, we could see the reception area from the studio. So I walk over to the window and I look, and I'm like, holy shit, that is Eric Roberts. That is Eric Roberts. What is happening?
Why
right
is
now?
he here?
Like, why is he here, and why is he looking for us? And I'm like, what is happening right now? So then Scott walks back into the studio. Didn't cross Eric at the front, but Scott walks into the studio, and I go, "Eric Roberts here?" And he goes, "What?" And I go, "The actor? Apparently you talked to him about something." He goes, "Oh no!" And then he realized what it was that he said.
That's the worst.
So he tried to placate Eric Roberts and go, yeah, we'll play a song. So Eric Roberts showed up with his stepson's CD and said, "Let's do an interview, and you can play the song on the radio."
Was the interview with the stepson? Remind me. Did
No.
he even go?
No.
It just,
was just
Eric
Eric
Roberts
Roberts.
was going to do an interview about this guy.
Yeah, about his stepson.
But the stepson was famous too, right? Like
Not yet, but he did become, and I'll tell you what he
Okay,
became.
okay.
So
I'm on the edge of the seat for my seat for this story, and I know
And
the
you
story.
know
You were
This is
there.
great. This is great.
So Eric Roberts says, we're going to play the song, and we'll talk, and this and that. And we were at the end of the show, so we
Right.
were like, we got to get out of the way. Chris Evans is coming in. You can talk to Chris Evans if you want, but we knew better. We were like, that
Yeah.
will be catastrophic.
We're not gonna do that.
Poor Chris Evans has no idea why Eric Roberts is here. We're not putting that on him. So anyhow, we have production studios and broadcast studios that don't always go to air, but we can put them to air. So we went to one of our backup studios and treated it like it was a live interview.
He thought we were on live.
Yeah, and we interviewed him and then played the CD in the studio.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Like we were.
And he was none the wiser.
No, he was the wiser because he said, "So this is recorded, right?" And I said, "Yes." I said, "Because our show's done. Our show's finished. We can't interview if the show's over." So I said, "We'll play it on our show tomorrow." And he's like, "And you'll play the song? What time are you going to play the song?"
Yeah. He wanted receipts.
He's intense. If you watch him, go and watch him in The Dark Knight, and you can just see his face. When you watch him in The Expendables, you can see that he's just
He had that face on when he was saying that to you.
He had that mobster face on.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think Eric Roberts is going to kill us if we don't play the song.
So did you have to take it to the boss?
No,
Like,
there was
the boss.
no time. There was
Nobody
no
was there.
time.
Yeah.
It was like on the spot. We had to do something. Like, we couldn't be like,
Yes, I'll
come
do this.
kick this man out of our building. We're like, sure, we'll interview this guy. Like, okay.
But I mean, playing the song. Did you play the song the next day?
No.
No.
Did you lie and say you were going to play the song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you afraid he was going to come kill you?
Yeah.
Are you still worried he might come kill you?
Yeah.
Probably someday. He's probably still looking for us.
Yeah.
That's probably why he's in town for TIFF. He's like, where's those sons of bitches from that radio
I
station?
want that song played.
He's doing his Dancing with the Stars. He does the cha-cha. He looks right in the camera like, Scott and Dave, I'm going to fucking kill you.
You're going down, boys. Yeah.
Cha-cha-cha.
I'm going to do the paso doble and stab you in the neck.
Oh my God.
So Keaton Simons is the name of his stepson. I would say, and he became a very popular and successful session musician, and played on a lot of albums for a lot of people, and had his own original music. I would say he's probably best known if you're a fan of Chris Cornell from Soundgarden, Audioslave. So he had a version of Nothing Compares to You that he did at I think it was a satellite radio station event or something like that. And Keaton Simons played guitar for him. And he plays this unbelievably beautiful melodic solo in the song, and you're like, whoa. So when I heard Keaton Simons, that name has been burned into my brain since Eric Roberts sat 3 feet away from me, and I feared for my life.
Intensely looking through the back of your head.
Oh yeah, he saw every single one of my insecurities just by staring through my head. And I was like, man, this is awesome. We didn't take a picture with him. We didn't
We just wanted him to go.
We were like, we don't know what's happening. We were so scared. he showed up the next day.
When does that ever happen?
When does that ever? Did you keep at that time where it was recorded onto? Like, did you keep the interview?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't even know if we were actually recording.
No, we were. I made sure of it because he came around.
You're afraid for your life?
He came around and looked at my computer while I was editing.
Wow.
Yeah, like
Yikes.
But I will say this. Yeah, it was a weird situation. Put us in a strange spot in the moment. Didn't know what we were going to do about it. The song he provided for us was not a song that we would have played on our station. It just was not the right fit.
Right.
It wasn't the fit. But I also appreciate him going to bat so fiercely for his stepson.
He was not taking no for an answer.
Yeah.
And in a way, now as a dad myself, I kind of respect
I
that
do
because
too,
I'm going
yeah.
like crazy. You're trying to find my kids a job or a
Yeah.
gig or money of some sort.
Yeah.
And I get it.
You
I
should
totally
stalk
get it.
people like he did. You should
Start
try
showing
that.
up places and be like, you're going to give my son a
Hey,
job.
so what time should he be here tomorrow?
Oh, it was unbelievable. Like
That's a great story.
Every little bit of it along the way just got weirder, and we're like, "How is this happening?"
That's so
And
weird.
like, of all the people to show up, I'm like, "Why didn't Drake show up the next day?"
Yeah, of all the
Richard
right?
Branson or something
Richard
like that.
Branson, yeah.
Eric Roberts.
But I'm a fan. Like out of that interaction, I became a fan, even though I was so weirded out when it happened.
God.
But
That's
yeah,
great.
That's awesome.
Back to that topic, I know exactly how you feel because I wasn't joking. Like my kids have both graduated from university. They got degrees in science. It's great. Neither of them can find a job. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't like the way you apply for jobs. I don't like your cover letter. I don't like your resume. I don't like any of it. So I kind of want to take this project on myself because it's almost like a game now. Somebody somewhere has eventually got to hire these two. They're both scientists. This shouldn't be a hard thing. They can't even get a call back. How involved can I get in this?
Do scientist jobs get posted on like Indeed or
Yeah, how does that
ZipRecruiter?
work?
Like, how does that work?
Okay, so I get those Indeed and ZipRecruiter job alerts.
Yeah.
So literally,
You're getting them?
You're looking for.
That's amazing.
it's crazy. I have a full-time job, and all I do is get job alerts for every time
Kids.
Yeah, it's crazy. So my son is basically a geologist with a bit of background in meteorology. So every time somebody's hiring, I get a job alert for that. And then I forward it off to them, and they send off a resume, and they can't even get a call back. I'm starting to wonder if the job ads are real or if they're just like AI generated to try and get engagement or something like that because nobody is getting a call back. It's
Yeah.
messed up.
It's tough out there.
How bad is it if the dad calls and says, "Hey, I'm just calling to see if you're hiring. I'd like to talk to my kid." Is that bad?
yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
do
I
that's a
wouldn't-
bad
I
look.
wouldn't do that.
That's a bad look.
But what else do you do? Like nobody will even call these people back, and they're smart.
Whenever anyone approaches me like that, so if we're like on a location or something like that, and they've got a kid that wants to get into radio, because this has happened to me before, and they approach me, the parent, yeah, you know, my daughter is in school for it and stuff like, hey, I have no problem with you chatting with me about it. But hey, can she maybe come? I'm like, she needs to put in the work. She needs to show, he or she, whoever it is, you need to show that you want it. You have to put in the work. You can't have your parents doing the work for you or your uncle or step, anything. You have to show that you're willing to put in the time, the effort, introduce yourself. That's a lesson that should be learned for young people getting into any business anyway.
But they can't even get their foot in the door. Like, it's almost like, I guess a lot of hiring managers use AI to go through the resumes and just give them the ones that are the best candidates. And I'm sorry, I think that if you just go off of resumes and don't do the in-person interview, you could be missing out on a fantastic candidate, because sometimes a resume doesn't check every single box for what you're looking for, but overall, it's a much better candidate. You probably get resumes all the time, don't you, Dave?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
some of them are great, some of them are not. They're not good layouts. The formats are all over the place, and you're kind of like, so what's the experience that you have? If I'm going to give any advice to anybody who sends a resume, you don't have to laundry list every job you've ever had, but think about what is relevant to the job you're applying for. You know, and you can always have a section on your resume that says, you know, other jobs.
I also bagged groceries at Longo's, and I worked at McDonald's.
But you don't have to put like, you know, September 2017 to November thing. I worked at McDonald's. Like, you don't have to do that. Like, you can summarize those smaller jobs and then show me a bit more detail about what you're applying for. And tell me how you're qualified for that.
Okay. These days, I don't know if it's creepy, but the way I got my very first job in radio, which was at 91.5 The Beat, where we are now, many years later, full circle, is I'm not going to use the word stalk, but I showed up to the station multiple times with a resume, and then after I met the hiring manager, I went there again, and I said, I'm just checking in on, but I don't know if you can get away with that as much now. Like, I don't know if that's kind of weird if people who are managers, especially you, right? If someone came here and was like, hey, I want a job, and then they came back again, would that just be a pain in your ass, or would it be like, wow, this person really wants it? I'm not sure where we stand with that now.
It can be either way. Like, it really... It depends on the moment. Like, if I've got 55 different things going on at once, and then somebody comes in and for the third time and wants to just check in, and I'm like, I don't have time right now. I don't want to make that person feel bad for being tenacious and trying to get this job. But was it a job you were applying for, or was it just you want to work here?
It was, you know what? I just wanted to work there.
Yeah.
I actually didn't even know. And what I didn't know is, you guys know the guy that got fired, but is that they were planning to fire the guy. And so because I kept showing up and saying, you know, I'd be really good, I want to work here this summer, that kind of thing. Eventually was like, okay, here's the deal. Someone's on the way out. You're going to be the one on the way in. We'll chat. We'll do a proper so it worked for me. A formal interview happened like a couple weeks later. So I didn't even know that they were going to hire somebody.
So what did you... Obviously it worked out, but when you go into that, is it just a Hail Mary? Are you going to go to like 20 different places and do the same thing? Or is it just you're going hardcore on that one focus?
I focused there.
Yeah.
I focused there because I liked the Beat. That was my radio station that I listened to. So for me, it was like, that's the one that I want to work at, because I feel like I'm familiar with it, like with the station and everything else. And they had a Hummer at the time, and I wanted to drive a Hummer, and I did. It was a great couple of years.
It's like
before
a living room on wheels.
Yeah, it was friggin' awesome. But yeah, it ended up working out. But no, I didn't actually give it away my resume away to a lot of people at the time. But anyway, I wonder about that. Like, gifts are a faux pas too, right? I just wonder for your kid. Well, here's what I'm thinking for your kids. They need to stand out a little bit, right?
You said gift with a T?
Yeah, but yeah.
Okay, I thought you said gifts.
Oh.
And I was like, are people putting gifts in resumes? I'm like, I hope not.
No, but I'm wondering if like something does make them stand out. Does that make you? Because anyone can email a resume. So how do you stand out that way?
Like, that's what I'm wondering.
Right, like back in the day, right? When you started your entry-level job, you went in person. You delivered it in person. A lot of places don't even want you to come in person, but they're just going to read a resume. And I think like there's no personality to that. So how do you stand out?
Well, now, a lot of resumes there's pictures. You see a profile picture of a person, or you see links. There's a lot of links in resumes now, and you could link to demos, or you can
social media is another one, I'm sure, that
now
you got to be careful with that.
I just say on the social media thing though, and again, this is a piece of advice for anybody who's trying to reach out and give, trying to get a job. If you're going to write something to somebody on social media, please do two things. Make the effort to, one, show that this is not a cut and paste. Do the simple things like format it properly. Don't change your font. I can see when you just went, hello, Dave, and then and then just the whole thing in a different font. I'm like,
that's the worst.
Hello, Dave is in Comic Sans, and the rest is in, Impact. I'm like, who's writing this?
Clear formatting. That's what you're looking for, everyone. Clear formatting.
Well, it's just to try. Yeah.
It's true.
I'm just like, you're not, to me, that's lazy.
Yeah.
To me, you're not making an effort to make a connection. You're just throwing a line into the water and hoping that somebody bites.
Yeah.
I think if you're a little more progressive in that and, but also don't just run up and be like, please hire me. I'm begging. It's like, whoa, hang on. It's like in a relationship, right? The desperation doesn't usually work.
You can come on too strong.
You can absolutely come on too strong.
So how do you figure out a middle ground? It's tough.
I know.
It's tough.
Can I tell you the truth? Be yourself. If you're the right person, then it works. If you're not, then it won't work. Just be yourself, though. Don't try to be something you're not.
It's true because even Scott and I, for interns for many, many years, we had a lot of people that were like gung ho in the interview, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna help. I can't wait." That literally didn't show up to a morning shift. Yeah. Like literally never showed up. I'm thinking like, what are you doing? You're trying to get your foot in the door somewhere. This is what do you do? And in the interview, they seemed okay. Mm-hmm. So things like that do happen, I'm sure.
I like your gift idea.
I think it might be a little bribery-ish. Like, I don't know how that works, but or even like, I don't know. Here's $10. Here's what I was thinking. Here's $10 to Starbucks. I'm going to attach it to my resume. I'm going to drop it off. Go have a coffee, read over my resume, and call me if you have any questions. Is that too much?
That's clever.
I don't think so.
You like that? You tell your kids to fucking get going here.
Scott's going to stop by and pick up some Starbucks gift cards on the way home.
Right? Like, go have a latte and a cookie and sit down. Well, maybe that'll just get you a latte. I don't know. And sit down and read this.
I don't know if a free pumpkin spice will be enough to hire a scientist.
Probably not, but it'll catch it. Maybe it'll catch attention.
Well, here's a great example that's connected to the show. Octavia, the morning show producer, the Scott and Kat show. She brought a cake.
She baked a cake.
She baked a cake.
Yeah, she did.
And it's not like we didn't say, well, we got to hire this person because they baked a cake. That's initiative. That shows me something.
You want
it doesn't have to be a cake. It doesn't have to be anything, but show me something different. I got a band that sent me music to listen to. Well, actually, they didn't. Let me take a step back. They sent a sticker for the band. They sent a pre-rolled joint.
Oh, yeah.
And a little hash coin.
Oh my gosh.
And we're like, they were like, do you get high or do you go low or something like that? They sent me this, but they didn't include any music.
Really?
So I'm like, well, I
wouldn't feel right smoking this now that I haven't heard the
What
song.
am I supposed to listen to?
I wasn't doing that anyway, but I don't know where it's coming from.
No, don't do that. Yeah. Yeah, you don't do that.
But I was just like, that's initiative. And what it made me do was go, I want to find out who this is that did this.
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting it. Please don't start sending me weed.
I think he's saying he wants you to start.
I am not saying that, and I'm making it very clear at this point. Please do not send contraband or anything like that in the mail.
Please, no drugs in the mail.
I don't want any of that. Oh, Mitch Hedberg joke. Yeah. It's like, my UPS driver is a drug dealer and he doesn't know it.
Oh my God. We're going to get resumes for internships with like Tokyo Smoke gift cards attached. Go Tokyo Smoke.
Not what I'm saying. Like,
smoke a big fatty and read my resume.
Smoke a bunch of weed and then make a bad decision by hiring me. But what I'm saying, why I say that is because it's effort. It's effort. You're trying to do something.
I think I would appreciate that too if I was in a management position or a hiring position, is to show the initiative. It really is the key.
We did a segment this morning on the radio show. It'll be on this afternoon in the afternoon shows as well, where we asked people a very simple question, and it was all based on a wrong number text.
It was so interesting. And she was a listener for sure because she had texted us previously, but she said that she wanted to be a nurse when she grew up, but she ended up being an auditor. And I thought, that's interesting. Wait a minute. What? So I text back and forth with this person. And I thought, that's interesting. Because I think a lot of us, when we wanted to be something else when we grew up, maybe, right? Or we had an idea of what we wanted and it didn't turn out that way. And sometimes it was for the best. And maybe you feel like, I woulda, coulda, shoulda. So we brought it out there to the audience today on the show. The amount of text messages that we got from people with
Hundreds.
What they wanted to do for a living versus what they actually ended up being or doing was insane.
We actually got people following up, texting in saying, thank you for having this conversation because I want my kids to hear that it doesn't always turn out the way that you thought it would turn out, and you got to roll with it.
What
and
an
that's
important
so
message.
Yeah.
That's so important.
How many people went to school to be a I don't know, a graphic designer. And now they're a claims adjuster for an insurance company. Yeah. How many people went to school to be a chef and now they're a mechanic or something like that?
A friend of mine went to...
That's a weird path, but anyway.
2 different universities, sports management, and then he did a course where he would be able to run a golf course. He went to U of G for 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
And
that'd be a great job.
And then he went to work in insurance.
So many people end up in insurance
It's
is what
wild.
we learned today.
Yes.
So many people are like, I wanted to be a vet, but I'm in insurance. I wanted to be an interior designer, but I'm in insurance.
So the business to get into is insurance.
It seems like insurance is the place to be.
There's a lot of jobs to be had there, apparently. That's great.
Pays really well.
Everybody needs to be insured.
Secure. Everybody needs insurance.
By the way, what happened with your mailbox yesterday? I saw that on your Facebook or your Instagram or something like that.
I went to get the mail. And the entire panel, I think everyone can picture the community boxes at least. There's usually like 3 or 4, whatever.
They should burn those community boxes down.
Well, okay.
Well, they should. No, I don't mean regular people. I mean Canada Post.
Hang on a second.
I'm gonna have to interject here because I believe that is a federal offense.
Yes, it is.
You'll go to
tampering with the mail.
You will go directly to prison.
Canada Post should remove those boxes and go back to delivering mail to people's homes. My address is not that box down the block.
Right. Well, and I mean, so what happened was there's 3 large panels, and then in those panels are a bunch of those individual boxes, right? I think most people can picture that. One of the panels, the middle panel, was wide open when I went to get the mail. Wasn't broken into from what I can tell because there were still packages and mail in there and boxes. Like if someone was trying to be a thief, wouldn't they take all this stuff? Maybe, right? I don't know. And there was even a key to the bigger box that was not used.
You would think you would think that if somebody is trying to rob it, then they would probably take all of it or more than what they took.
So
presumably,
and mistakes happen. So I know, like, okay, so maybe the postal worker, whoops, they thought they locked it, but it didn't obviously lock. And it wasn't the first time it happened. So I did call. I did the right thing, which everybody should do, is call the post office. Unfortunately, it took me like 5, 6, 7 minutes maybe to get to somebody.
Oh, really?
To get to a person. There was no easy way to report that.
They were probably shocked as hell when somebody phoned the post office. Who does that?
Well, and she was like, the lady on the other line was like, okay, just your mailbox is open? I'm like, no, the entire panel is wide open. Oh, dear. So then...
Oh dear.
So then she put me on hold for a little bit, came back and said, okay, so I think someone can come in 4 hours. And I'm thinking, well, it's plenty of time for people to come steal all this shit. Like, what? 4 hours?
At this point, Kat goes and buys a canvas bag and starts delivering the mail herself.
There you go.
Door to door.
But I was worried because I wanted to...
Hello, Charlie. Here's the newspaper.
I basically did. I knocked on a couple neighbors' doors because I wanted to let them know.
Dodgers had a big game last night, huh? You're like rolling up newspapers and throwing them on lawns as you're going by.
That's true. You could have stepped in and all the addresses are on the packages.
Is that a federal offense if I grab stuff from there though and put it on?
I don't think you're supposed to tamper with other people's mail.
That's the thing is I can't touch anything. So I knocked on a couple neighbors' doors to let them know.
And all the desperate housewives are like, the mailman's here and it's Kat. Like, actually,
I'd let her.
Yeah. You're like, whatever.
They're very desperate at this point.
Yes.
So then I put it out there just because I'm like, how many times does this happen to other people? But it turns out it happens like frequently.
You almost got ratioed on that post.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so funny because Kat was like, Kat's not like this, but when Kat gets like this, Kat gets like this. She was responding to almost every comment and just being like, listen, asshole.
Yeah.
And I was like, Kat's fired up about this. I can see it.
Sure am.
Yeah.
But you should be. You have every right to be.
Yeah, I think that it's important. And I understand there's a fair amount of people who are like, I don't give a fuck, take my bills. There's people who have very important documents that get sent to them via the mail. That's an easy way for people to change their identity.
How am I going to get my Columbia House order?
Not everybody just gets junk.
Where the hell are my 12 CDs for a penny?
Can I tell you, it's such an out of sight, out of mind thing because I have a community mailbox as well that's down the street and around the corner. I constantly forget to check the mail.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just grew up in a house where mail got delivered to it, and I would just reach out the front door and get my mail. Now that I have to walk a block and a half to get it, I keep forgetting.
It's not a block and a half, by the way.
It's probably just right
28 steps from his house.
So I go and open the mail, and then I find the people at Canada Post have done everything they can to jam everything into that little square box.
Yes.
It takes like tools to pull everything out.
Do you say no flyers on it? In the box on the bottom. This is a game changer for me. Just put no flyers, please. And they won't give you any junk. And unless it's addressed to your name, they will not put it in there.
You're like, please only give me the Best Buy flyer.
Yeah. Be very specific.
Now they have to go through and figure out which flyers you get.
Facebook stuff is great right now. I don't know why, but I'm just in the mood. So I posted about the beer in convenience stores.
Yeah.
And my Facebook is blowing up
Everyone's
right now.
riled up right now.
I love it.
don't know why.
I love it.
Like,
is it the
what's
time
going
of
on?
year or something that we're just like, let's fucking tell everyone everything?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Post.
Give people a piece of my mind.
Yeah.
Well, I just put it out there because I've seen the complaints and the people seem to be angry, some of them anyway. So I put it out there and I said, super convenient, good selection, not any more expensive than the LCBO or the beer store. I don't understand what people are complaining about. And that's like an invitation to show off everything you're pissed off about.
That's exactly what I wanted to see was the comments on that. And what were the majority of the comments on your Facebook post based on, I don't understand what the problem is?
Yeah, the vast majority, and I think that there's some people who just don't want to wade into this conversation and fight with strangers. That's totally fine. I think the vast majority of people think that, okay, yeah, it's convenience, it's another option, but no, by no means are you obligated to go and buy beer at a convenience store. I did go in yesterday and I found it very convenient. I wasn't kidding about that. They had, this particular Circle K has 6 fridge doors. And I forget what was in them before yesterday.
But Gatorade Zero.
Gatorades.
Powerades.
And Monster Energy
Monster
drinks.
Energy, maybe a couple of Primes.
Yep.
Like, did Coke and Pepsi just get like the heave-ho out of all the convenience stores all of a sudden to make room for the beer?
The same bottle of cold Starbucks Frappuccino milk
No
that's
one's
been there for
touching it.
81
It's
years.
fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wondered that about them. I don't think that they can put them in the Pepsi fridges because those are actually, in some cases, I think Pepsi gives that as part of the deal.
Oh, really?
In some cases, I don't know every store.
So it'd be rude to kick the Pepsi out and stick it full of
You
Coors Light.
can't do that. And also,
Yeah,
but
who
think
loses
about
the spot?
Think
Yeah.
about how bad that would look, though. If someone could come by and claim like they didn't know it wasn't Pepsi and they chugged a whatever, a White Claw or something.
Honestly, though,
They spelt Pepsi different on
Yeah,
this
this
can
was
for some
weird.
reason.
so like I said, I wanted to understand what people were upset about, but that did occur to me even on my own when I went into the Circle K yesterday. Is they sell individual cans, and it's real easy because for all my life I have opened that fridge door, I've reached in and grabbed a pop, or I've reached in and grabbed a water or whatever. Now, where the pop was is a pre-mixed Mott's Clamato Caesar, and where the water was is now White Claw. And they look very similar. It was almost like too accessible. You've actually got to think about what you're doing. You can't just walk in, grab one beer, and walk into the store and drink it. It's not meant for that.
Interesting.
So that was something where I could see that being an issue. The one that had people riled up, though, was apparently that it's available in convenience stores that are close to schools.
Yeah.
I mean, there's restaurants and bars that are close to schools, and that's never been an issue. There are liquor stores and beer stores that are close to schools, and that's never been an issue. But all of a sudden, people are very concerned that kids are all going to start drinking on their lunch break because it's in convenience stores, and I don't get that.
I was born in Montreal, and in Quebec, this has been a thing forever.
Right.
It is never. I've never understood the freak out. I've never understood any of the. It's been normal to me my whole life. I don't understand what the big deal is, and I'll be honest. I never found the LCBO or the beer store inconvenient. I'm whatever. Like
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not like, oh, thank God it's available everywhere I turn. I don't. Across the street from where we're sitting right now, there's a gas station, and they have a huge flag outside that says beer, spirits, whatever available now.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's what the gas station's promoting now. Wow. Like, whatever. I mean, do we need it?
Do we get Petro points for
Yeah,
wine
and
purchases?
You sure as shit get optimum points when you buy it at Circle K.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was pretty excited about that. So good. I can pay for my groceries by drinking more.
Probably use it more than Aeroplan.
Probably. The one thing, though, that I do really, really like, but I feel like it needs a little explanation, is I love the hours. I love that it's available 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. Here's why.
Yes, please do tell us why you wanted it said.
Well, because I saw people, and it's a fair criticism if you don't understand, but
Right.
people were saying nobody should be able to buy booze at 7 a.m. I mean, first off, I think we should treat adults like adults, and if somebody wants to drink at 7 a.m., that should be no problem. Just because traditionally bars and restaurants don't start serving until 11 doesn't mean that it's prohibited to drink at 7. And I'm also thinking about those shift workers. Do you know how many healthcare workers, police officers, firefighters work the 12 hours on, 12 hours off. And that shift is probably 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Or it's 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Way more things should be available in the morning for shift workers, for pilots and flight crews, for
truck drivers.
Truck drivers is another great one. Hey, it's crazy to me that someone can work.
Not that they're drinking while they're driving, but they're getting errands done while they're on the route.
Yeah,
or when they're coming home.
They're just coming down from northern Ontario, and they happen to get here just a little late. They're cut off.
But it's weird hours. That's the thing. Is like anyone who works. I'm going to say weird hours, but whatever. For a lot of people, it's normal. That's fine. Our hours are weird too.
Sure.
So yeah, it can be handy.
It's weird to me though that you can work a 12-hour shift, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. in a hospital as an emergency room nurse and just work your butt off for 12 hours, saving lives. And then after work, you cannot go out for a beer or even order a pizza or a hamburger. Why is nothing catering to those people? And there's a lot of them that work irregular hours. Hey, if I just finished a 12-hour shift and I want to go to McDonald's and get a Big Mac, I should be able to get a Big Mac at 7 a.m. It's crazy that I'm relegated to just the breakfast.
I think you're starting to see some places do that more often, though. Like, I mean,
Good.
I think Burger King has like a Whopper that you can get at breakfast. You know, you can get it like just order a hamburger at breakfast. There's a lot of places in the States that are like that.
Yeah.
They're a little more 24/7 friendly there.
Yeah. So, but here I'm starting to see like the hours on certain chain restaurants and that, or fast food places, their hours are getting later again. You know, they kind of scaled back, especially during the pandemic. Like this is now kind of a little bit, it feels a little more open, and the options are getting better late night, I guess. But during the week, maybe that's a bit of a different story. Because I don't know that Subway is staying open to 5 a.m. Right, to make subs at night, and then turning around and starting breakfast at 7 a.m. or whatever they do.
I just think that for some business owner or entrepreneur, try and tap into that shift worker market. There's no reason that someone who works until 7 a.m. shouldn't be able to order a pizza after work. How many times have you ordered a pizza after work or grabbed a burger after work or had dinner? We're still basing our entire society on an outdated model of what time people work. 9 to 5 is done. It's over. We've got to start accommodating other people, and part of that is being able to go for a drink. Now, do I think bars should be open at 7 a.m.? Not necessarily, but I also think that it should be the choice of the person who's operating the business. If you want to be open 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. as a bar or restaurant because you feel there's a good market of people out there at 7 a.m. and after 7 p.m. we quiet down anyway, I think you should be able to do that.
Well, I think that's key for the business owners to be for it, because the issue would lie in, okay, it sounds like a good idea, but if nobody comes through the door, you are paying somebody a wage to keep open, not to mention all the overhead and paying a chef behind the scenes. If you're a cafe even, or a lunch or a dinner spot, you're paying for all those people. If you're not bringing a lot of money in, it's not worth it. So you have to have enough success in order to be able to continue that. And I think some places have tried it, but if you're not making money, you're not making money. So that I understand.
I could have this conversation all day. I love talking about this, but we are actually out of time. I'm going to mention quickly here that all throughout the Toronto International Film Festival, Kat has done the hard work of trying to figure out the TIFF website so we can tell you on the radio who's going to be where on which day. And so Monday, we will get back into that routine on the Scott and Kat radio show, and maybe even here on After 9. Is there any interest in going to any TIFF events?
I mean, I think that a lot of people will be going. On Sunday, I think, is especially a more popular day for this weekend, because you'll see Angelina Jolie, and there's also a lot of people that are going to be there at the gala where she's accepting an award. So in and around the Fairmont Royal York area, it's going to be it's going to be a gong show all around Toronto. But in and around that area on Sunday, just so everyone knows, it's insane. But a lot of celebrities will be there.
So here's the thing. They've closed off King in the theater district. King Street is closed in Toronto this weekend. They've also closed off a bunch of the other side streets, like Wellington's closed, part of Blue Jay Way's closed, Duncan is closed for a little bit. And here's part of the reason that that's important. Because while they do close that off for the pedestrian traffic during TIFF, it also very much restricts where you can drive and where you can park. What else is happening this weekend? Well, tomorrow night, you've got Jim Jeffries and Jimmy Carr at Scotiabank Arena, which is going to be a hysterical show. I'm jealous if you've got tickets. Also at the same time tomorrow night, you've got Hootie and the Blowfish at Budweiser Stage. On Sunday, the night you said was going to be crazy, we've got Weezer at Scotiabank Arena and Stone Temple Pilots at Bud Stage. It's going to be apocalyptic in Toronto this weekend.
Apocalyptic.
Don't even try.
Well, if you're going, leave now. Let's just give that
exactly.
advice. Whatever time it is now, wherever you are,
go.
just go now.
Just go.
You were downtown last night. Can we talk about who you saw?
Sure. Yeah, we can. It was a TIFF adjacent event, I guess. Katy Perry has a new album coming out September 20th called 143. And
we talked about her on the podcast yesterday. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right.
We did talk about her.
Well, I hung out with her last night.
Yeah.
At this listening party and got to
She didn't hear the podcast, did she?
I don't think so. No.
God.
She heard a different podcast. That apparently a lot of people heard.
The Call Her Daddy one?
Yeah.
Is she sticking by that story that she comes down the stairs, nom, 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 the dishes are done?
I don't know. She referenced it and just said, yeah, I guess a lot of people are talking about it. That's all she really.
Okay, that's the only comment? Okay.
Yeah. So we got to listen to the new album, get to hear the whole thing, and then say hello to her. Do
you think it's going to do well?
I think it's going to be.
I think you've put Dave in an awkward position.
I'm sorry.
No. I think it's it's without giving too much away about the album. It's a return to the dancier kind of almost EDM,
which I do
kind of
like.
inspired Katy Perry
I do like
stuff.
the dancey Katy Perry stuff.
Yeah, so I think to say that, expect that. And if you're a Katy Perry fan, you're going to be over the moon with this.
Right.
Yeah, I think you're going to be super, super happy.
What is 143?
It's the numeric code for I love you.
The pager code.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's what that is?
4 is love, and then 3 is you.
As
So
a former
I love you.
pager owner, I should have known
You
that.
should have known
That's
that.
embarrassing.
Clearly, you've never got that page.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad. Dave, do we owe an apology to anybody?
I could do some apologies.
Okay.
So sorry to anybody that has played softball against the Obi-Wan Kenobis. It's just been one of those years.
Building of the dynasty.
Oh, yeah. And we're taking a step in the right direction next year. It'll be great. Deep remorse is owed to people with bad resumes. We are really sorry. To all those desperate housewives looking for a rendezvous with the mail carrier, only to have Kat show up with your hydro bill and a no-frills flyer under her arm.
Got a package for you.
Yeah. Oh, it's actually a package? Oh, okay. Thanks.
It's the opposite.
Yeah. I'm going to say
Got
this.
a mail slot for it. No, never mind. Carry on.
Yeah. Put your mail in the slot. Hey, you started it. You can't be grossed out by a thing you started.
Try to blame you. Ew.
Ew, how dare you?
Problem.
Now you've crossed the line.
Yeah. Oh. We should also give regards to Katy Perry for having to deal with that Toronto traffic yesterday. Chaos.
Yeah, not good.
It's a lot of that. And this is tough. This is a tough one.
Eric Roberts?
No.
You should probably.
No. I'm going to apologize to Mike Tyson first. Because for 2 reasons. One, because it's a good reason, a good idea just to do it. And secondly, it's not going to be the last apology today.
Oh.
Because that one I need to reserve for Eric Roberts.
Yes.
Due to my fear that he may catch on to this and track us down again.
He seems like the type that's probably got like the alerts on. Anytime somebody mentions his name or types his name, like he gets a text message or something.
No.
You're not going to put his name in the podcast title, are you?
Not in the title.
Not in the title. Don't put it in the title. Don't put it in the description. You know what you should do? Okay, this is a fun joke for those who are actually going to download the podcast and look at where they download it from. Look at the description of the episode and put his name in stars. Put like E **** R **** and spell out Roberts.
Yes.
So just E and R are the only letters, and then the rest is blanked out.
You
Yeah,
should.
just do
Let's
it
be
that.
safe.
Yeah. So anybody who downloads it get a kick out of seeing that. That's what we're gonna put in the description.
I'm here for it.
Love it.
Anybody else?
Eric Roberts.
Eric Roberts.
Just Eric.
God bless Eric Roberts.
Keaton Simons.
And Keaton Simons especially. I don't know what the relationship is now. He may not want us to talk about Keaton. I don't know.
Whatever Eric Roberts wants, he'll get.
He'll get
it's
it.
Fine.
He'll get it, and I'll probably give it to him.
Now here's a song submitted by Eric Roberts, which we'll play for you now.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye.